so we can learn more where you're coming from and who you are. We'd also love to learn something about you if you'd like to share what you'd like to do in your free time, because we're always interested in your interests. And what we're hoping to do with our time together today is give you a little bit of an introduction to OctoStudio, this free mobile coding app, and also show you how you can create with OctoStudio, and then share some examples, as well as talk with you about how you might want to try out OctoStudio or how you might want to share OctoStudio. So we'll also have time for questions. You can ask questions in the chat throughout, but we'll also have time at the end to ask questions as well. So I'll begin by sharing my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. And I wanted to start by just giving a little bit of background into, several of us mentioned we're from the Lifelong Kindergarten Group at the MIT Media Lab. And the Lifelong Kindergarten Group is a research group that really thinks deeply about how to support young people all over the world with tools and resources and spaces, different ways to help them express ideas that are meaningful to them. And one of the ways we think about our work is through these 4 P's. P's because each of these words in English starts with the letter P. So in English, we have projects, passion, peers, and play. So when we think about learning, we think about how do we design and facilitate experiences where young people can work on projects based off of their passions or interests, collaboratively with others, with their peers, in a playful spirit. And the play is really, it's about the process. How are we supporting kids in having an idea, trying it out, seeing what happens, changing it, again, going back and revising. So the playful process. And, we've taken these ideas, and these ideas have become a part of many different things our group has tried. I'm going to pass it over to my friend and colleague, Natalie, to share a little bit more about kind of some of the ways we've applied the 4 Ps of creative learning.
Yeah, so one of the ways that is how we know Bernard, Solomon, Valentine is our group created Scratch originally, and it now has young people around the world. I know it's been used a lot in a lot of the countries that you all are joining from as well, by young people, by ambassadors from Africa Code Week. So we created Scratch, a programming language and community for young people and anyone really to create projects based on their ideas and interests, and learning a lot of skills in the process. So I was one of the original creators of Scratch, and it's really amazing to see all the ways that young people, and again, that a lot of you have been using Scratch to help young people learn and express their ideas. And that is how we got to know, as I said, yeah, so Rupal, yeah, you can go ahead. Talk about OctoStudio, then I'll talk about this. Okay, should we switch? Yeah, maybe we'll say this, that go ahead.
I think if you could share the context.
Okay, great. Yeah, so early in the pandemic back in 2020, Bernard said, I would like to introduce you to some amazing young engineers who are ambassadors for Africa Code Week. He set up a call for us all to meet. And in there, Solomon, Valentine, and one other shared with me and others at MIT what they really felt was needed to support children, parents, community members. And I don't know, Solomon, Valentine, if you want to share a little bit about what you shared with me during that call.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Natalie. Actually, this is a very, very incredible opportunity for us. During that time, before the pandemic, we were reaching out to students through the Africa Code Week, and we were inspiring them into STEM education, teaching them how to code, how to play with the card, make it move, and then to learn coding from scratch. And we used to face limitations because we here in Uganda, with like 30% of kids around have access to computers, and go deep in the villages. But then we would have teachers with mobile phones. We had mobile phones, but we couldn't use them, and yet we had few computers. So we asked ourselves, how can we make use of this? How can we have more students here benefiting from the program if we only have like 2 computers? So now during the pandemic, the challenge actually broadened. We now didn't have the way we had more difficulty in training the kids, and because most of the kids during the pandemic had access to mobile phone, and they would use the mobile phone to reach out to their teachers. But then we didn't know how to, most of them, when we would engage them, they didn't have computers. So that's when we were discussing some of our challenges with Bernard. He made the magic happen by arranging for us what was a very rewarding for us, getting the chance to speak to the team at MIT. And we were sharing our experience. And just as you can see in this picture, here in Valentine, were sharing our challenges. We really wanted to reach out to kids, but we didn't have the resources. The kids didn't, we had fewer computers, yet we wanted to reach as many students as possible. So maybe Valentine can add on what I've mentioned.
Please. Thank you, Solomon and Natalie. Yes, so just like what Solomon had said, we realized that during the pandemic, we had so many learners at home, and we wanted them to still continue coding as part of the Africa Code Week activity and program. So we really felt like there's a need to have a program that can still be accessible to the young learners who had no access to the computing lab that they were using at school. And it is on this eventful day that we, like as you can see in the photo, Solomon was showing how they were just using the phone to code using Scratch. And of course, there were some challenges in there. And it's interesting that from that, we were able to see that the team at MIT came up with that, with OctoStudio. And to go back and forth iterating, and my colleague Solomon was able to get a pilot group of learners who are able to interact with the team at MIT and make it, user-friendly for the learners, make it fun. And there were some gaps that the students were helping in filling, in as far as user experience was concerned. So yeah, it's really a day that we look back and we are really happy that it has come to fruition, and we are also taking part in seeing that it's reaching our learners in Uganda. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but I remember back to when I used to sit in the bus and I used to share videos of projects made by kids at Scratch, and then I would imagine what if I would be able to teach these kids while I'm showing them what others have made. What if I could use this phone to teach them? Because you cannot carry a laptop and open it and have a class in the bus. But now today, I'm so excited that now I can just open my phone, and even the kids, their parents have phones, and then we share the app and that project. So we are happy here as Team Uganda to share what an experience it has.
Yeah, so really it was a turning point because we had just had a little experiment of what could we do on a cell phone, but we were just experimenting. And that day we decided, after hearing and then reading the report that Solomon, Valentine and their colleagues put together, we're like, we have to really make something for mobile that works well in this context. And like Valentine and Solomon said, it's been a lot of iteration that continues to, we learn what's happening there. And so this is just exciting to share it now with all of you more about OctoStudio and hear what your feedback is and how you might use it.
Yeah.
Caro?
Yes. So how does that look like, right? What can we create? What children can create with OctoStudio, and why this excites so much, right? Solomon, Valentine, and all of us. And here is in a really short video. Do you have it?
Yes, I just want to reshare with sound, so I'm gonna do
Oh,
that.
okay, great. Thank you.
Yes.
1 minute, yeah, less than a minute video. We can share a little bit of that, and then some features that, how does an OctoStudio project look like?
I did think, could I have assistance in sharing the slides, please? Down here.
Yes, one moment.
Thank you.
You want the
Thank
video
you.
played?
Yes.
Gotcha, one moment.
Okay, I was able to fix it on my end, so I'm gonna do it myself, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, here we go.
So with OctoStudio, you can we can do lots of kind of stuff. Like you can shake your phone to start something in your project. You can bring different interests from music to sports and connect it to the phone and some physical action. You can leverage the tilt sensors of your phone to make a game or something like this, for example, that simulates driving. You can use the beam blocks that are Bluetooth based to interact in between phones located in the same space or have short distance space. You can also, you can also take a photo and begin to interact with the picture in your project, like we see with this curl. You can use, it's so sweet. You can use the blocks and the sensor, like, you know, to turn on and off the flashlight on your phone or tablet. You can embed the mobile device into physical projects, such as things made with paper, like this little house or even a window or something to create a scene. You can share your project easily too, like through social media, like WhatsApp and other groups. So you can create, for example, like this, a card, you know, a happy birthday card, and send it to your friends. And one thing that is pretty important about everything that Natalie, you know, Solomon and Valentine have been sharing so far is that the app was created since the beginning with the support of all of this global community that we have, like educators worldwide who support us on thinking of what is important. And one of the things that is important is obviously like having it translated to different language. So today we have it available in 29 languages so far, and yes, including Arabic and other languages. One other thing that was so important to us was for children to recognize themselves with everything that the app could have as a feature. So for example, the emojis that you see on the left are the usual ones, right? Are the standard emojis in mobile devices, and the ones on the right are a remixing of them with different hairstyles, skin color, body shape, to represent how life actually is and how people are. So this was pretty important for us to create OctoStudio in a way that could be inclusive for many people. And
Thank you, Carol.
Yes.
Now over to Solomon and Jenny to invite us into this next part.
Yeah, wonderful. These QR codes on the screen are to allow you to download the app if you want to code along with us while we create together. But you're quite welcome to also create later on and share it with us later on. So don't worry if you can't do that just now. So let's create Solomon. I'm going to just hold my phone up, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And the first thing I'm going to do is just show you where you can change your language in case you want to change your language. You can go into the little gear at the top there, the little settings icon, and then drop down here and you can choose the languages that you need. Okay. I'll just go back to the home page, and then this button right at the top here is going to be where we create our project together. And then we're going to choose whether we want to start with a sprite, a character, or a backdrop. So I'm just going to pick that one. And as Carolina was saying, like, we can use the sensors on the phone as well once we've picked one of these. I'm going to just pick the rabbit because he's my favorite. So there's a little rabbit down there, and I like the love heart. So once we're in here, it gives us a block and it tells us to drag some blocks up. But I'm actually gonna, because I want to use the sensors on the phone, I'm gonna actually use a different block to start with. So I'm gonna use when I tap. I'm gonna drag that out, and then when I tap on the rabbit, something can happen. So I'm gonna find a block in here. I'm just going to pull out the jump block and connect it, and then when I tap on the rabbit, it'll jump. So I want to create something with Solomon today. I don't know if you can hear me, Solomon.
I think we could add to the rabbit. I would love if we could animate a character, like we could add WRO, and maybe when you shake, and then maybe the characters start moving randomly. Something like
okay, cool.
Yeah. So
did you want to add a character?
So I think we could add W, just a letter, W, and maybe let me see which character can be good. And the octopus. I love to use the octopus so much.
That seems a good idea. So
yeah.
scroll along and find the octopus. Well, actually, I can get the OctoStudio octopus, right? That seems.
Yes.
And then you said you wanted to have something happen when you shake the phone. Is that right?
Something to maybe turn. I love to have it when we feel character. Then maybe when I shake, another character which responds. There are two characters.
Okay, so like I pulled out the when I shake, and you want something to happen when you tilt as well. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, yeah. So and when I killed the rabbit moved left. When I killed right, moved right. When I turned to the
Okay.
left, then when I check, then the octopus moved like
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So the octopus is gonna jump, say, like when we shake the phone. You see him? Okay. And you want to move. You want to move.
How did you make that? How did you make it to
Aha. Yeah,
like
sorry. Did I do it too quickly? So I pulled out the when I shake block. I'm gonna make it bigger. Maybe I can make it a bit bigger so you can see. I pulled out the when I shake block, and then I added a jump block from this green section. And then now I've got the rabbit and the octopus, and when I shake the phone, the octopus jumps in the air. And then I can open this selector here and switch back to the rabbit. And then you said that you wanted to make the rabbit, like maybe when I tap it, I can make the rabbit move.
slowly, move slowly.
Slowly, move slowly. He's trying to escape from the octopus. Okay, there we go. So I dragged out a move block, and I can change the speed to slow. Yeah. And then when I tap, the rabbit, it's just gonna creep past the octopus.
The octopus has to dodge. So we are making a game. We're making a game where the octopus has to dodge the rabbit.
Yeah.
Interesting. So interesting. Could we add some sound such that when the rabbit touches the octopus, we could get some sound?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So we've got some other blocks here, as Solomon was saying, that say when touches. So when the two actually meet, we can play a sound. So let's see what sound it makes. If I just tap the rabbit till he touches. Could you hear?
Yes. How about if we let the octopus be affected? Maybe it can somehow show fire to scare away the rabbit. Something like glowing.
Glowing. Okay. So let's switch back to the octopus. So when you want it, when it touches the rabbit. Yeah. Okay. When it touches the rabbit, there's some color blocks here. So they can, one of the blocks is a glow.
That block for glowing, I think it's where you got it. You get
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's try. Can you see?
Yes.
It's like he's creeping up and like, planning a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if people want to I don't know if they're able to download and try something themselves with either the shake or the tap block. Just pick a sprite that appeals to you or like something connected with what you like to do in your hobby, and see what you can create.
Anything, any idea that it may not be that kind of game, but just comes, could be something some of you are sharing, like what we like to do in our free time. They could just try to get something, not like you're going to create the whole project, but just to share the idea of what you're working on. Someone asked in the chat, do you have the software? So the software, or maybe the link to the app.
And then later on, you'll be able to share with us on social media by using @OctoStudio app or hashtag OctoStudio.
And did you know that actually you can save, while you're playing that game, you can save it as a video, and then while you're sharing on social media, you share as a video, and also you can also share the link to your project.
Maybe
I was
also,
gonna go ahead, Natalie.
go ahead. I thought it might be helpful to see the code again.
Oh, yep, sure.
I
Yep.
mean on the screen, on the slide, yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so here we've got when I tap. So like we showed with the rabbit jumping, like this octopus is jumping, and when I shake, so that when you shake the phone, it will sense and play a sound. But you can make your character do whatever you feel is most fun. Okay.
And so Salman and Jenny mentioned, these are the QR codes if you wanted to download, but again, we can share those in follow-up. But then Salman mentioned you can share your video of your project, whatever you try, even if it's small. We'd love to learn from you through these spaces, these different places on social media. And then if you scan this QR code by opening up your camera app and putting it towards the screen, it should open up a form to fill out to join our mailing list. If you want to learn more about things that are happening with OctoStudio, you can join that mailing list. But we also want to mention that there's even another space you can go to learn more about OctoStudio. So there is this website, OctoStudio.org, which we can also put in the chat. It is you can view it in English or in another language as well, like French and Arabic. And there you can learn more about some of the resources that we have for OctoStudio. And as well as if you didn't get a chance to download it earlier, there's also links on the website to where you can download OctoStudio. And again, OctoStudio is free. There's no ads. There's no purchases in the app, and it works offline. So once you have it downloaded, you don't need data or Wi-Fi to use it. So we hope that you try it. And with that, maybe Salman, I wonder if it would be good to transition to sharing, if you could share some of the things you've been trying. I know you're about to have a lot of things happening in Uganda with OctoStudio. I think it'd be helpful for folks to hear about it. And I can share this video if it's helpful as a little bit, and then maybe we can stop sharing and just see you too. But I'll play the video if you want to begin sharing.
Hey, thank you very much. Since the production of OctoStudio, we have been trying out to reach out to kids, and especially from home to home. And actually, besides my hobby biking, actually I always ride from home to home, such that I can meet these kids and then I can teach them how to code using OctoStudio, and I can see the excitement. And what you see here on the screen, this is Keisha, and I met Keisha. Then she asked for my phone. I had gone at a shop to buy something. Then she wanted to take out a game on my phone. And when she tries to scroll through the app, the only thing that looks like a game is the OctoStudio app. And then when she taps on it, instead of playing a game, she starts having fun while making her own game. And she actually starts imagining her own stories. And as you can see on her t-shirt, she has a hat. And I realized that she was animating a hat and then trying to interact with it. So there is a lot that we kids can do with OctoStudio. And what we are planning here is we want to launch OctoStudio here in Uganda in the coming days. And we want to make sure that so many kids, so many parents, and so many teachers now have access to creative computing, now that most of the children in Uganda have access to mobile phones at least for 2 hours in a day. So we believe that when we get them to know, to learn more about how to use OctoStudio, and the parents as well, they will have more fun and they will have a deeper connection with their kids. Now they can share their phones with their children in a more constructive way. And as we are launching WRO actually here in Uganda tomorrow, hope that we are going to be moving out to schools in regions where they have never heard of coding. And we are going, and what robotics is all about is you have to program something to behave the way you want it to behave. So we are going to use OctoStudio to introduce children between the ages of 8 and 18 to coding and then prototyping. So there is a lot. We wouldn't share everything, how you can use OctoStudio here in this call, but when you go to the OctoStudio YouTube, you will find there are so many ways you can use OctoStudio in prototyping, and it can be so much helpful during our outreaches to the schools in WRO as we are teaching children how to type and how to innovate. So that's what we are working on, and sharing our stories, the OctoStudio, by tagging the OctoStudio social media, and we call upon everyone on this call as well to try out. Thank you.
Thank you, Solomon. So exciting to see what you and Valentine are organizing in Uganda. We're very grateful, and we think that, we know we're going to learn a lot from you, and hopefully others here on the call too can stay connected and hear what you're trying. We thought maybe it'd be helpful to share maybe one more example of something that we've seen kids creating with OctoStudio. And then I know Carol also wanted to invite you all to something that she's been doing along with Solomon this month, but I just want to share one more example with the group. And okay, hopefully you can see the screen here. Natalie, do you want to talk about this example from Thailand?
Yeah, so this is a student from Thailand who created a project using the beam, and he wanted to take care of a tree. So on the tablet, he's shaking every time wind shake, send a beam, and the other tablet is waiting for the beam. So this is a way that you can have students and young people collaborate across devices, sending a signal across, and it's using Bluetooth. And again, everything works offline. You don't need to be on the internet to use it. And that's something we learned from Solomon and other partners. Be very helpful to have the app work with no data charges. So yeah, so this is just one example. We're still exploring this idea of beaming to different people and how to have collaborative projects, and we'll be interested in how you use it as well.
Thank you, Natalie. Carol, do you want to talk about OctoSparks?
Yes. So OctoSparks is this initiative that we organize for the community, the global community, when we invite everyone to create an OctoStudio project, one or more, of course, throughout the month in a specific theme. So you can see that from January to now, June, we had like the 6 different themes. And currently we were creating and sharing about our favorite hobbies. So the theme is my favorite hobby. And it's an honor to us to have like Solomon and the team from Uganda, and also our partners from Thailand, with Tukta, as you can see in the photo. This was this live stream that we host every month, each month, about this specific theme. And here you can see them like creating different projects, and also there's a lot of interaction with the community. this is open to everyone, and we would love for you to join. When you sign up for the newsletter, as we shared before, the link is actually in the website. You have access to these emails that we send in the beginning of each month, sharing, okay, this is the theme, and this is how we're inviting you to create on it. So we have been having lots of fun this month, actually, because people are sharing a lot about their personal, habits and things that they love to do when they are free. They have free time. So it's a very nice way to know each other while also creating with coding and exploring OctoStudio and getting to know OctoStudio and sharing about it. And just so you have a sense of what people do create, like we invite the community to create and share in social media. And the next slide, Rupal could share with us, also with audio if it's possible. There is this compilation of projects created when the theme was patterns, so tinkering with patterns, and how can we make like playful and also projects that can be actually connected to the curriculum sometimes with OctoStudio, so you can have a sense of that. Yeah, and in the chat now, Natalie is sharing the email list link. So you can just, put your email there, and you're gonna have these invitations every month, or at least getting to know about it. What is the theme, and it's something that we have been seeing that inspires even educators to work with specific content at school, or bringing some creation and creative computing around something that is interesting to create about. So yeah, everybody's welcome to that too.
Thank you, Carol. I know we have some time. We want to make sure we save some time for any questions that anyone has. Or if you've been working on an OctoStudio project, if you wanted to open your video and hold up your phone so we could see what you've been working on, we'd love to see that as well. But yeah, time now to have any questions that you have, and we're happy to answer. Or if you'd like to share what you've been working on. We have a few other questions that we can type in the chat. Maybe from today you have a new idea of something you want to try with OctoStudio. We'd love to hear that as well. We already see some enthusiasm in the chat, but if there are things you think you might want to try, please do share in the chat or by unmuting. The other question we have that we can type in the chat is, we really want to better know how we can share about OctoStudio with different communities. So we see many of you are coming from different countries, different places. Again, Morocco I saw, and South Africa. And we love your advice. How can we be sharing, or if you have ideas of how to share OctoStudio in your community, we'd love to learn that as well.
If anyone wants to ask, we can take you off mute.
Yes, and you're also, if you're comfortable raising your hand using the reaction, if that's comfortable for you, you can do that. Or, you can unmute either way, or type in the chat, whatever is comfortable for you.
We can also comment on some comments that people already made, right, or questions. So one of the questions was, is OctoStudio available also for tablets, not only smartphones? And the answer is yes. So we are currently, currently works in tablets and smartphones with Android and iOS systems. So both are working.
But we're interested, it's very helpful for us to hear that some of you are interested for it to work on PCs. That's something we're thinking about. So that's very helpful if you want to say something or write in the chat what devices you have. I see there's a question. Yasmin asked if we have tutorials on how to use it. So Rupal, do you want to share?
Sure. There's some things, as we in the app. So in the app, which when I stop sharing screen, we can show you. There's some things, but then another really helpful resource is our OctoStudio YouTube channel. So if you just search OctoStudio or OctoStudio
I put
app.
it in the chat too, the link to the YouTube. Yep.
So you'll see here that there's a series of different types of videos. Some of them are videos on how to make something, how to send a video, how to make a soccer game, how to make a multiplayer bowling game, which is a new one today, just added an hour ago, and a racing game. So there's some different tutorials and ideas here, as well as like Carol was talking about these compilation videos. So there's a lot of different resources available through the YouTube channel that we encourage you to take a look at. And then maybe I'll just also share within the app, and I will try to spotlight myself here. Okay, so when you open OctoStudio, you'll have this screen, which is the kind of initial screen for OctoStudio. And then there's like these two tabs, which might be hard to read right now, but one says My Projects and the other says Explore, which I realize I put my phone in French, so it says it in French. But if you click on Explore, you'll see there's a video that like the one we played that gives you ideas, but then there's these sample projects. And so you can open a sample project and you can start to, this one is, I think, yes, when I tap the drum. So there's some sample projects with code that you can start to remix within the app as well. Oh, Kenya and Senegal and Namibia. That's great to see all the different people. I was thinking we could also share some other resources here, if it's helpful. I also, want to continue to make space for your wonderful questions. So please continue to ask your questions, but in the meantime, just sharing some more resources based off of that question about tutorials. So this slide, if you again open up your camera on your phone and hold up your phone to the QR code, you should see a little pop-up to take you to this page called OctoStudio Explorations. This page was created by our friends at the Tinkering Studio. You'll also see in the bottom corner here, it's a bit.ly, a website link to take you there. And on this website, there is 8 different explorations and mini guides to support you. So one is this playing with patterns. One is really thinking about books and how you can help students connect books with OctoStudio, and we have some examples for that we can also share. Playing with everyday objects to make faces, thinking about things like paper and how you can cut through paper like a magazine, music, shadows, and more. So this could be another helpful resource for folks. And then along the lines of the book example, it will let me continue to click. Nope. Okay. Let's see here. Let me find the book example I was thinking about. This is just a video here about this book. This one is called Windblown, and it has a bunch of shapes. And you know, in the book, the shapes kind of arrange themselves into different characters and creatures. So you can imagine reading this book with a young person, but then you can bring in those shapes into OctoStudio and to continue to play with this idea of how we can move shapes around and make our own creatures, but using OctoStudio to do that.
And Rupal, since
Mhm.
it's short of time, I know some people are writing about how they might start using OctoStudio, so I don't know if we
Great.
wanted to shift to that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yasmin saying, this is awesome for our organization, for example, Bridging Digital Divide. We offer programs for kids and teachers to learn of code using Scratch. This will definitely be something that we'll try out. Great, Yasmin. We'd love to stay connected with you and to learn what you try.
And Bernard put a translation for
okay.
Natalie.
Here in Morocco, we're producing Africa Week to present and Scratch our kids. So for OctoStudio, having another Africa Week for OctoStudio. Oh, that's great. Please do let us know, Inase, what you do. From Nigeria, I want to ask if the application can be interconnected with other Android devices or laptops while in use. So, Natalie, do you want to talk about that? Just the use of
so right now, I do think, again, that for across Android devices and iOS, this beam will work. Right now, so far, we haven't made it work on laptop. We really designed it for the mobile first, but we're thinking about how to do that, and it's helpful to hear from you that would be a helpful thing. Oh yeah, then there's another great question from Asia about whether OctoStudio can help learners with learning difficulties overcome their difficulties. I know we've seen that on Scratch. There's actually been research papers about that where people notice kids making things. We've seen that in a lot of different ways. And I do think the way we designed OctoStudio with, you can just use the icons. Like someone had noted earlier that it's like a combination of Scratch Junior with icons and Scratch with words. So you can use the images and words. You can see what happens. So we do expect that. And we also have designed it to work for people who are blind and visually impaired learners. It works with a screen reader to hear aloud what you're creating. So if you look in the settings, you can see that you can listen to the code that you're making. And so that's another. And in the reference guide on the website, there's a reference guide, and we talk about some of these features. So there's a reference guide on the octostudio.org website that you can download and read more. I know we're at time. It's such a wonderful to have all of you and your thoughts and ideas. It's exciting for us. Definitely, as we said, I'm going to share the link to join the mailing list again if you get a chance, because that way you'll be able to keep in touch. And we hope, to continue to have opportunities to hear from you, how you're using it, and to meet you again. And thank you, Bernard, for introducing us in the first place to Solomon and Valentine, and Solomon and Valentine for all your inspiration and guidance along the way as we've been working. And we're really excited about the launch, Uganda, and all the work that all of you do for WRO. And we'll be happy to hear how you're using OctoStudio if you get a chance.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you. So good to meet you.
Thank you all. It's been fantastic. I think what we'd like to do is to follow on perhaps in a month or 6 weeks, because I know particularly with our friends from Morocco here who are involved in Africa Code Week still. As they have mentioned, I think they will be able to give you a lot of feedback. I think once we get out and get working on the app and using it, we will also be able to get a lot of feedback, which will be valuable. So I think we should look at maybe coming back in, 6 weeks, 2 months, and having a follow-on if that works for you. But thank you all for all the huge, tremendous work that's gone into this. It's just incredible. And it's also going to be life-changing for so many young people. I already was connecting with one of our partners in UNICA, United Nations Economic Commission, who's a 6-year-old boy this morning. And I was explaining to her that I was going to send her this video so she can teach her own child about what OctoStudio brings. So yeah, thank you, merci, and it's been fantastic always working with you all. You're just incredibly talented, humble, and great people. And that includes all of the people who are on here, their educators, teachers, and for giving up your time this time of the evening. We really, really appreciate it. A new time for us to try, but it's been brilliant. We've had over 33 extra people as well as those who are on the call here. So that's super.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the great job you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.